Welcome to the Daily Grind, a Bluff City Media daily podcast. Stepping up to the microphone is your host, Luke Hatmaker. Grab your favorite morning brew and let's get to the show.
Keep rolling. What? Rolling. Yeah, welcome to the Daily Grind. I am your host, not Fred Durst of Limp Bizkit, but Luke Hatmaker of Daily Grind. And it's Thursday, and I got the ones, the onlys. I got my guy Parrish, and I got Rusty. I don't know what it's called. I don't know. It's early. How we doing, fellas? We doing good?
It's doing good, man. It's funny because my Twitter name is the one P Shark, so those lines.
Yeah, we're good, Luke. I was talking to my neighbor who is an archaeologist this morning, and he said they recently discovered the largest dinosaur tibia in history. You know, that bone in your lower leg? I said, really? He goes, yeah, apparently it was a real big shindig. Welcome to the Daily Grind.
Anatomy humor, dinosaur humor.
You know what's funny, man? I don't think you're not even a dad yet, ain't it?
I'm not. I'm just practicing.
Man, Rusty's he's got all them dad jokes like in his back pocket, like that. Like
y'all seen The Good, the Bad, the Ugly with Clint Eastwood, where he's got the two like bullet like belts. Right? Yeah, that's me with dad jokes. The bandolier, that's me with dad jokes. I'm just got them loaded.
You know, it's hilarious for someone who's got as many kids as he does. Uncle Buck comes in here and hates all these puns. You'd think he'd just go fall like a Santa Claus. That is not a. You don't look like Santa, Uncle Buck. If you're watching, I'm not taking a crack at you. Maybe a young Santa. I'm off the rails. King Meeks, Jalen, everybody, thank you guys for watching this morning. Thank you guys for hanging out. We're going to jump into it because we had a basketball game last night.
Did we? Was it a basketball game?
I don't know, man. The Oklahoma City Thunder advanced to the NBA Finals, destroyed, whooped the Timberwolves 124-94. This game was over in the first quarter. This game might even have been over before the game started. I don't know. I was hoping to see a little bit more fight out of this Timberwolves team. I like them. I like watching them play. I like a lot of they might have my three of my favorite bench players in the league. I love Na, I love Nas, I love Dante, but this was kind of like when you let the air out of a balloon and it just goes flying around. That's what this felt like. Bummer way to end in the season. What'd you think, Parrish? I mean, anything jump out at you other than how good OKC is?
I mean, that's really what it is. I don't even think it was like a fight from Minnesota. They just came out missing shots, and OKC just put the pedal to the metal. So, and I mean, someone mentioned it last night, but I was thinking during the game, every single series, OKC has won a game by like 40, 30, 40, 50 points, right? They beat the Grizzlies by 50 in game one, beat up Denver twice. They beat them by 40, I think, twice or something like that. Game two, they beat them down. In game seven, they beat them down. Minnesota, game one, they technically beat them down. They beat them by 26. Then last night, I think they ended up winning by 30, but they were up by almost 40 at some point. So 1 or 2 games every series, OKC did this to a team. Although Denver took them to 7 games, they still outscored them by like 60 points, point differential throughout the series. So it lets you know that Denver series was a young team playing against a team that won a championship, trying to learn how to win. And I compared it to, I haven't said it on the show or anything, but it reminded me of Golden State that first year they won when they had to get past Memphis in the second round. Yeah. It was that just like, that was their first test. Like, all right, if we get past them, there's no stopping us. They got past Denver.
Is it the 2016 Warriors? Yeah.
2016, yep. So, that's what this team kind of remind me of. Not saying they're going to go on the same dynasty run. The second apron, all these tax rules are going to make that hard. But they OKC is the best team. They were the best team all season. They just keep showing it time and time again, and people keep getting mad at it, but it is what it is. They go.
Yeah, I think last night is much more of a testament to Oklahoma City than it is Minnesota. Like, you could have inserted any Western Conference team in there, and I think Oklahoma City, it's the same outcome. It's a gentleman's sweep. It's 6 games at most. This Oklahoma City team looks locked in. They played their tails off last night, couldn't miss, and just – their defense is suffocating, which is why I think this finals, if the Pacers can find a way to beat the Knicks, I think this finals is going to be a lot better than a lot of people think.
It's going to be fun.
I think this is going to be a great – for hoops heads, maybe not for like big market kind of guys, but like for people who just like good basketball, it's going to be great basketball.
Let me talk about that, man. That's a bunch of malarkey, bro.
Malarkey. Oh, yes.
I'm using
word
the
this
word. Yeah, I ain't trying to say BS. I ain't gonna say the word. I'm trying to, doing better on shows with it. But them folks know they're gonna be watching the games, bro. They need to stop it. Like, I've been doing a good job kind of staying off Twitter and not seeing this stuff. So I see either there or I got these people muted because I see the people talking about the people saying it. Kind of like Grizzlies fans, I see people talking about the people saying the dumb stuff. I don't actually see the dumb. Either I have all these folks muted or I'm just missing it. I don't know what it is, but that whole thing, the whole big market, that's so dumb. You knew it was coming. It was coming regardless. Like it was coming long as OKC got there. Yeah, Indiana. This was the perfect match for it. Be like, oh yeah. No, I'm like, y'all need to stop. Y'all know y'all watching them. Y'all know y'all watching the finals, bro. Y'all need to stop it.
And kind of like we were talking about earlier, neither of these teams are going to be in or paying any of the taxes. They're not in any of the aprons. They're both underneath it. So I'm curious what that's going to look like going forward. But this shows that, to me, it tells me that there's a path for Memphis to get here if you follow the mold of one of these two teams.
Yeah.
I about to say, it's so funny. I wrote the article yesterday and said on Twitter and that group text Rusty about the Grizzlies, Ja Morant being healthy. I mean, kind of when you think about, because I wrote an article last week about the 4 teams remaining. Who's hurt on any of these 4 teams remaining?
I mean, that's it.
Every year the Grizzlies have somebody hurt. So hypothetically, the teams who make it far, they may have one person in their rotation in the back end their rotation hurt.
Listen, that's a part of the game. That's the part of the game. Being available and being healthy is a skill these days. And the teams that survive are the ones that can be the healthiest. I was talking to a guy yesterday, big Pacers fan, and that's the biggest thing is they're bought in to Carlisle and the system there in Indiana, and they're just healthy. Like they don't have dudes that are out. And that is one thing that John, like we can make all these cute trades for Giannis or for, Domantas Sabonis or go get Herb Jones or what can we do to get Cam Johnson? None of it's going to matter if 12 isn't on the court. Because then they can key in on Jaren like they did in Oklahoma City games after Ja got hurt. Just throw everything at Jaren, and we didn't have anybody else that can score. And so Ja Morant not being on the court is the number one thing. And I feel like call me Captain Obvious from those old commercials, but that's the most obvious thing that we need is a healthy Ja Morant. Because even with some of the pieces we have now, a healthy Ja Morant takes this team much further than what we did this year.
And to take it.
Oh, go ahead.
I was about to say, to take it back to the regular season when the Grizzlies when they actually went on the slide, who got hurt, who missed 6 games in a row. It started with Ja Morant getting hurt. That's when they went on the buzzer beater losses. Then he came back for a second. Then Jaren went out. It was then Brandon Clark went out in the midst of the road losing streak. Everything happened along the injuries. It's funny. It's crazy, but it's like they probably finished top half of the rest because they were already top half if health permitted. And it's just like, unfortunately, we're just unlucky in that department. Not only Ja Morant, Brandon Clark has missed the last 2 playoff rounds. Jalen Wells played the whole season.
Wells,
got hurt at the very end off of dumb play. Somebody clip him from underneath. It's just
the game that truly didn't matter.
And that's 3 of your 6 playoff rotation guys right there.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean,
but you talk about, to bring it back to the game last night, you talk about consistency. Oklahoma City, since the 2009 season, which I believe was their first season in Oklahoma City, have had 2 seasons with less than 40 wins. They have won more than 40 games every year except for the 21-22 and the 2021 season in Oklahoma City. Part of that's been health. Part of that's Sam Presti's done a really good job of building with key pieces around. Like they rode the tide of the big 3, right? When they had KD, Russ, and James Harden. And now they've swung the other way to where they're able to do some fancy footwork, get some great players, kind of out of the salvage bin, right? Like they pulled, SGA was a part of the Paul George trade, but it wasn't like the flashy part. I mean, he was a good player, but it wasn't like, oh my God, we got SGA, right? And then they drafted really well and they built a team on consistency. And so that's what Memphis needs to follow is something like that. But to me, that's impressive. They've been in Oklahoma City since 2009 and have had 2 seasons with less than 40 wins. And
have made the finals twice since 2009. They made it with KD. They made it with that KD team. They're making it with this this really good organization.
Shout out Sam Presti. He has done a bang up job as a GM out there.
For him to build that thing back up after the KD era ended, or Russell, I guess Russell Westbrook's the last man standing after the Russ era ended, and for him to, pretty much replenish all these picks. That Paul George trade, Jalen Williams was a draft pick from that trade. I want to say Casey Waters was a draft pick from it because they got 4 pick swaps.
So all that happened. All that happened, and they went 44-28, 22-50, 24-58, 40-42. Then they won 57 and then 68 games this year. So it's just like they got rid of Paul George. They had 2 rebuilding years, and then they won 57 and now 68, and they're the best team in the NBA.
They had Chris Paul their first year with SGA. They went to the playoffs in the bubble, and they lost 7 games to Houston. Then they traded CP3, and that's when the rebuild started. And I'm pretty sure I don't know what they got for CP, but they got something back with him too that helped.
And Edwards Ashton, Sam Presti's been there since Seattle, because there was a interesting thread, and I wish I still had it, where it showed where he made a trade in like 2007
for Rashard
Lewis.
Rashard
Lewis. Yeah, because that's what started all this
team now. Yeah, he started that in like 2004, 2007, whatever it was.
Trade exception or something.
Trade exception that got them to SGA and Chet, and this whole situation they're in now. Crazy. Trading Serge Ibaka, like there's been so many little moves. You look back,
Oladipo was a trade in there. Paul George.
You look back and
just went in order. It's like, wow.
You're like, damn, man, this guy knows what he's doing. Has been cooking for a long time.
And he's built out the roster like that, and then you go back to last offseason, hits on free agency, gets arguably the biggest, one of the biggest free agents targets with Isaiah Hartenstein, and then
like
trades for Alex Caruso.
Right. Yeah.
And then trades Alex Caruso for nothing. And who every team wants Alex Caruso, and it's like, cool. You hit on the draft, hit on free agency, hit in the trade market as a small market team. That's how you get to the Western Conference Finals.
But their weaknesses last year when they lost to Dallas was big man, right? Because Jalen Williams was playing 4. I mean, he's 6'5", right?
Yes.
Their Hartenstein in. And then Josh Giddey, after on the court, can't shoot. You get Alex Caruso, who fits them better, because Josh Giddey going where Chicago. He was a lottery pick, so he's a good player.
Good player.
He fits best for this team who's ready to contend now. They went and got the veteran, because Alex Caruso is 31 and got a championship. So that's the veteran that they needed to pretty much take him over the top.
Yeah. Because they had shooting, and so what they saw is they needed just some defense. They needed a guy to be that defensive leader, so they go get Alex Caruso, who's a serviceable offensive player. He was a point guard at A&M. Like he can play some offense, but is known for defense.
I thought he was solid at A&M too. It was crazy he went after Simi Jacob.
He was solid at A&M. His haircut maybe not so much, but he was solid at A&M.
He had the side of the
little like frizzy, like
It's like he got drafted because he didn't get undrafted because of his skill set.
No, it's because he looked like he was 41.
And you want to talk about, like, we've talked a lot about this game, and I think it's important. You talk about getting a player that levels them up in every way. Talk about Josh Giddey, great player, can't shoot, not as good of a defender. In this Minnesota Timberwolves series, I'm pretty sure that the Oklahoma City Thunder had over 100 points off turnovers. I think I heard that this morning. I don't like that.
They probably did against Memphis too. I mean,
every
series.
And like that's tough.
But did y'all see what the Thunder beat writer tweeted out last night at the end of the game?
No.
After the game, they're celebrating. We're going to the championship. Won the Western Conference Finals. One of their beat writers tweets out, "Yeah, but Morant had this team figured out." Like clearly, we're still there. Like we're living rent free in there. Like you're thinking about Memphis when you just won a Western Conference Finals. We'll see y'all soon.
Love it. Love it. Let's put it. I don't want to talk about that anymore. Good button on that, Rusty.
Yeah.
We do have a game tonight. We do have a game tonight. Eastern Conference Finals, Game 5. Back in the Garden, right? Yeah, we're going back to the Garden. Pacers are up 3-1.
We're at 3-5 in the playoffs.
Yeah. I don't know. You think Pacers close this out? I guess it's my question. Or do you think this is going to go back to the field house?
I want to say the Pacers will close it out, but I just have a feeling this series is too good to end in 5.
Yeah.
I think that Pacers in 6. I think the Knicks pull one out at home tonight, and then they close it out at the field house in Game 6.
Call me crazy. Damn, what series? I had a perfect comparison for this series, but either way, I got Pacers in 7 actually. It was something because it was another series I'm thinking about where a team fell down 3-1, and then they lost the next. It was the Grizzlies.
I was like, what is the Grizzlies?
Grizzlies. When we blew that 27-point lead in Game 1, New York blew that late lead, 14-point lead with 3 minutes to go in Game 1. To lose. The Grizzlies fell down 3-1,
and they lost in Game 7.
How we got to talk about that this morning?
That's why. That's why comparison for this series. It's like it's kind of going like
I'm trying to bury that memory, Parrish. Like, what are we doing here this morning, man?
Man.
We were all.
It is what it is, bro. It's there.
Look, I agree. I think this series could go 7. I think the Knicks are very capable. I don't know that the Pacers are going to lose 2 games in a row. I just don't feel like they will. I think they might lose tonight and send it back to Indy for game 6 and one in front of their home crowd. I mean, obviously Adam Silver would prefer that because it's more money and viewership, but this Pacers team is too good and playing too well. They very easily could close it out tonight, especially if they play like they did the other night. Like they beat the socks off the Knicks the other night. I think they could do that again tonight, but I'm gonna say Pacers in 6.
Cat is questionable too. He's probably gonna play, but he was limping really bad. He got hurt at the end of the game.
Oh yeah,
at the very end of the game. I forgot about that.
Yeah. I think that's a good wrinkle to keep an eye on. I mean, you mentioned Parrish. God, I hadn't thought about that series since that series. I think you would have talked about a team that like arguably was the better team. I mean, had more talent, went into that game, but the Grizzlies lost that series because of that blowout game in that first game.
And that's what my thought. It was like ultimately New York is going to lose the series because they blew game 1.
Yep.
And it's like no matter what, they're going to end up losing the series because of their game. Even if you get the game 7, Indiana going to win game 7 in New York because they blew game 1.
Yep. Yeah. That's if I'm a Knicks fan and I'm listening to us, I'd be upset. I'm with you guys though. Hopefully we get this. I would like to see this go 7. You know, if
I would love that.
If it closes out tonight, we got to wait over a week till we get more basketball, which would suck. At least if it goes one more, we don't have to wait a full week. Any last thoughts?
We're going to hear a whole week of people talking about this whole big market finals guy.
Dude, I'm
so over. Like, just because you played in the NBA doesn't mean you need a microphone. I'm looking at you, Chandler Parsons, and I'm looking at you, Markieff Morris. Like, those two dudes just keep saying they keep saying dumb stuff. And then you add them with Perkins, and like they have the collective IQ of a sweet potato up there, and it's just awful commentating. It's awful.
Going.
Man, I heard if you say the name Chandler Parsons 3 times in a mirror, he shows up, says he'll help you, and then just blows his knees out and goes away forever.
And take $95 million with him.
Hate that dude. God, you got me in a bad mood, Rusty.
Hey, just to give everybody some credence, man. Everybody do yourselves a favor. Don't watch ESPN or those shows. Watch Melo at 7 p.m. in Brooklyn. He's actually gonna talk real basketball. Watch Podcast B. Paul George. They actually just had a show together on his show. Like they
watch Bluff City Media
talk.
Yeah,
watch City Media.
But if you want to watch, I'll say if you want to actually watch, like if you want to watch former players, those are the players to watch. Don't be watching the ones that's on national TV.
Watch Out the Mud. Watch KG and Paul Pierce. Like you get good stuff on there. Don't watch some of the other clowns.
Brevin Knights. Let's go and watch the night court.
The night court.
Actual basketball talk, man.
Yeah, it's out there. You can find it. We'll go and get you out of here, Parrish. We're going to take a quick break. Share with you a little ounce of hope, as it were. And when we get back, we're going to talk about a couple more things, see what Minnesota needs to do, if they need to reboot or retool right after this break. Thank you, Parrish. You have a good rest of your day, brother.
All right, y'all.
Looking for an alternative to alcohol or conventional medicine? Check out Ounce of Hope, a Memphis-based dispensary with 2 local stores in the Sanderland Center and on South Cooper Street. You can get all the products you need in a location convenient to you. Each store offers an intentional shopping experience with dedicated bud tenders to answer all of your questions, from product selection and mushroom blends to our personal favorite, the Delta 9 seltzers. You gotta try the Peach Buzz. Try Ounce of Hope at either one of their 2 Memphis stores or at www.ounceofhope.com for convenient products shipped right to your door. Use the promo code BluffCity for 15% off any order, excluding sale items. Cannot be used in conjunction with other promotions or discounts. One use per customer.
And we're back. And that's ounceofhope.com. It's below if you missed it. Check them out, guys. They're awesome. We used to be a bit on this show where we'd be frustrated with our commercials because they would be so like repetitive. This is a killer ad. It makes me so happy. After it's over, I'm like, man, I need to start my day right. I need to I'm chill. I don't know. They're great.
Listen, I've been to the factory. I've seen how the sausage is made. It's an incredible process. It's super like green initiative, in-house closed loop system where they have their own water, fertilizer, everything through in-house. It's awesome. Great operation. Use code Bluff City for 15% off your order, as Kenny said there in the commercial, and support a great organization. You know, I can't give away a lot of details yet, but we got a pretty exciting event planned with them coming up later this summer. Super stoked about that. Stay tuned for details. But Ounce of Hope, great local company. Memphians supporting Memphians. And if not, Nashvillians supporting Memphians at ounceofhope.com. There you
Tennesseans support them. Payday. It's like I get more forward. Like look more forward to payday now. I'm like, you know what? Ounceofhope.com. Get that.
Absolutely. I got a seltzer order in the works. Can't wait to get some more of those. Got with some cherry Jane and some high lime this time. Using that code Bluff City 15%.
I hope I start getting orders and my mailman's like, "What is this, brother?" And I'm gonna be like, "Hey, code Bluff City."
I told my hairstylist the other day, we were talking, and she was like, I started drinking these THC seltzers, and I was like, oh, let me give you a code for 15% off the best THC seltzers in the biz.
Boom, we got y'all. You know who needs an ounce of hope and who's going to need some THC seltzers? Minnesota Timberwolves after last night, man. They are in rebooting and retooling phase. We're bringing this back because they are out of the playoffs. And they are in an interesting, I don't want to say a predicament. We mentioned briefly yesterday, this is just going to be an interesting summer for these guys because they obviously don't need to reboot. Obviously, they've got Ant Edwards, who's, I would say, we are both big fans of Ant personally. He's ahead of schedule, I would say, in terms of his trajectory. So, I mean, clearly they just need to retool around him. I just think that might be a little bit harder than we think. They think. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it obviously is more retooling than reboot. I don't think they need a big blow up. But Gobert's getting older. Mike Conley's getting older. They do need some pieces. Why not sell high on Julius Randle? Randle hurt them a lot in the playoffs. But there's going to be some team out there. Maybe it's Brooklyn. Maybe it's Utah. Maybe somebody's looking for a vet presence to help grow a young team. Maybe there's like a young player on one of these teams that wants to play alongside Ant that they could pair up. I think Julius Randle is probably going to be your best bet because I agree with King Meeks. Like they do need a true point guard alongside Ant to be that true complement to him. And I just think it starts with Julius Randle moving off of that contract and seeing what you can get for him.
Yeah, and I mean, he's clearly someone who someone will be able to talk themselves into Julius Randle, especially like he had some. There was enough that he showed in the earlier series of this playoffs where I could. It's really easy to talk yourself into him as a player. Yeah. They just don't have many other options other than that being their trade piece, because they're probably going to lose one of either Nas or Na. I don't know if they get them both.
No, and I just looked up their salary table. That's what I was doing. I was looking it up. Yeah. So they've got Gobert under contract through 27-28, Ant through 28-29. Julius Randle has a player option for $30 million for next year. So he could opt into that. And then, Lauri Markkanen, as Edward says here in the comments, maybe they get a Markkanen, Colin Sexton kind of deal where they can move those guys to Minnesota and pair Colin alongside Ant. You talk about tenacious downhill playing, man. Those two dudes are dogs. Man. And then you add Lauri Markkanen into that Julius Randle role alongside Rudy Gobert, then you're
more natural for what they need too.
That's it, man. You space the floor, which is what Ant needs. Big, athletic. Shout out Edward Ball Knower in the comments. Yeah. Because he's got a player option. Naz Reid has a player option, which I feel pretty confident he's going to decline because it's only $15 million.
Yeah, he can make.
Like I said on the show the other day, somebody's going to overpay Naz Reid and somebody's going to overpay based on how they played this year because Nas' deal is done. He's no longer under contract after this season, and he only made $4.3 million. So two people are going to I guarantee, and there's nothing against Na or Nas. They're both good players, but somebody's going to overpay for both of them based on their production, and we'll see, are they a system guy or are they truly, that star? But I think it starts with Julius Randle, and I like the Lauri Markkanen and Colin Sexton thing makes a lot of sense if you're Minnesota.
Edward, that's good, but why are you out here making them so much better, brother? We don't want that. We just made Minnesota really good.
We did. We'd rather those guys come to Memphis.
Yeah, I'm like, man, you talking about a starting five of Colin Sexton, Ant Edwards, Jaden McDaniels, Lowry and Gobert is pretty good.
Bruh.
The
Western Conference Finals just got a lot harder for Memphis, especially if we hold serve, and our big summer pickup is Tarek Biberovic.
Yeah, Edward, we give you a job. We got you. We bring you in to
Come
be
on.
Memphis GM. Also, Courtney, thank you for joining us. I don't know if I've seen you in here before. Nasreed is what we want Santi to be. He says
Courtney's a $2 Sports Show regular, so welcome. Thanks for being
yeah,
here.
Courtney. Yeah, Nasreed is what we want Santi to be. Yeah,
I mean, that's it. That's it.
You're absolutely right. This man, the more and more I keep reading, the more and more I get excited for this summer with teams rebooting or retooling.
I mean, Sham said this week it's going to be one of the more, and I know part of his job is hyping it up for ESPN, so everybody's all bought in, but like, it makes sense that there's going to be a lot of moving pieces, particularly with teams being so afraid of that apron. And the reality is you're very likely to have two teams in the NBA Finals, and neither of them are in either apron. And so there's going to be a lot of reshuffling this summer. So buckle up, like and subscribe while you're here, so that way you have the content from the best content creation company in the game, Bluff City Media.
Boom. Man, you're talking about Shams doling up interest in the summer. We also saw something yesterday. I believe it was yesterday. And I believe it was Bleacher Report that originally had the exact quote. I don't have it in front of me, but it was I tend to take their articles with a grain of salt because sometimes it's like
Bleacher Report.
It's Bleacher Report. Sometimes it's like, man, what are we doing? But this actually had quotes and reporting, and I don't have the gentleman's name, but Grizzlies were on a list of teams, and this was a decent. There were like 5 to 6 teams on this list. Obviously, teams are going to make a push for Giannis, but this was Grizzlies to make a quote surprise push for Giannis. This is interesting, and then the article goes pretty in depth about like Grizzlies have options to trade to get him on this team. And then I started looking at the Grizzlies salary cap sheet salary cap situation for next year. We only have 4 dudes making double figures next year.
Yeah.
Dez, Ja, Jaren, and Brandon Clark. Those are our only guys making double figures.
Yeah.
After that, we got 2 guys making $6 million, and Edie and Conchar, and then everybody else is under young. It's a lot of young guys making $2 million, give or take.
Yeah.
Giannis is making 50 odd million.
I mean, it works with Dez and Brandon Clark, and that breaks my heart. I love those 2 dudes, but like, we're talking about Giannis Antetokounmpo, like a generational talent that if he says he wants to come to Memphis, to me, there's only one dude that's going to be untouchable, because I think Ja and Giannis pair up really well together. Now, what I would love to see is a deal that includes, like I said, Dez, BC, John Conchar, whatever that looks like, and it's going to take a literal butt ton of picks. So you're probably going to have to get a couple of teams involved, which is fine, because if you're trading for Giannis and your starting lineup, let's hypothetically walk with me here. We've got Ja, insert whatever 2 guard here, Giannis at the 3, probably Jaren more likely at the 3, Giannis at the 4, or Jaren at the 4, Giannis at the 5, vice versa, whatever that looks like. You talk about a defensive unit with Jalen, Giannis, and Jaren on the court at the same time. You throw Edie in there, that's a massive lineup. And one of the best rim runners, dunkers in the game, very athletic, long defender, and just a dog, like somebody who is tenacious, brother. Like, if there's any ounce of truth to that, and we go get Giannis, oh my, we will have a lot more than an ounce of hope. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, brother. And it's really, really. You look at where the Grizzlies are sitting. They've got cap space. They're gonna have it next year. They've got exceptions. They've got their biannual, they've got the mid-level, they've got 2 trade exceptions, which I think total a decent, but when we don't use Zach Kleiman's going to have to do stuff he is not used to doing, because the Grizzlies
are trying to do the math. Like that's a decent amount of cap space that you can still then go get like a somebody to help space the floor, as Courtney said here, like a shooting guard, a PJ Washington, somebody that you can count on to shoot, right? Somebody that can actually help spread out that lane, because Ja and Giannis both play in the lane really well. Spoiler alert, Jaren Jackson Jr. can also help spread the floor, because unlike some of these nerds in these small closet, like little pockets of Grizz fandom, like Jaren is a great outside shooter, plays more like a stretch 3, and he can help spread the floor for Ja and Giannis to play together. I mean, it just feels like those 2 dudes were made to play together in Memphis.
And Giannis is an interesting person because we know he can play in a small market. We know that.
Mhm.
We know that he likes Ja and he likes Jaren both. We know he doesn't like his state income tax. Brother, I don't either.
Me neither. I love
yeah,
living in Tennessee.
It's great. I'm the Giannis domino is going to be a really interesting one to keep an eye on this summer because
It's going to be a historic trade.
yes,
If it happens.
And I don't think we're going to be looking at a situation where the Luka deal is tanked all values. I think that was just an absolute an insane situation. I do think he's going to command a lot, and the Bucks need as many picks as they can get. That's important because they don't have it. They don't have any. So you've got to look at where they're going to get all that from. Grizzlies have all their own picks, which is great. So
because if you look at it, the most picks ever included in an NBA trade was in the Paul George trade in 2019. It was 5 picks. Giannis is at least going to get that, if not more.
7.
I mean, it's possible, but again, you're gonna you can only trade so many first round picks in a trade. Like you can't go back to back years. You're gonna have to go every other and then sprinkle in some Jazz or Brooklyn or whoever comes in as that third team first round picks because of some of the CBA. You can't trade like back to back or like definitely not 3 first round picks in a row. So it'll be interesting how they do it. But man, like 6, 7, 8 picks is a very real possibility.
Yeah, Edwards thinks 8 to 10. Man, I'm more excited. I'm just where Giannis decides to. I mean, watch him just decide to stay.
I mean, that's probably what's going to happen. And I'm trying the math for him to come to Memphis, and he would look great in Beale Street Blue alongside Ja. But reality is, he's probably he's a very loyal guy. Like he wants to stay in Milwaukee. I think that's truly what it is. It's probably just some posturing for some contracting / get some guys in to help me type thing. But I mean, obviously, if you're Memphis and Milwaukee calls and is like, hey, Giannis wants to come there, then I mean, you trade everything, including the Bass Pro Pyramid to get him here.
Yep. You make that happen. You give them the deed to that pyramid. You get him here. You get him
floated upriver on a boat.
You
just get it out of here. You want the M bridge? Sure, we'll just we'll ferry people across again.
You want the M bridge lit up like the Greek flag? You got it, brother. You just let us know. We'll make it happen.
And good gracious, hey, we got a great Greek festival, Giannis. Come on in and enjoy.
Yeah, come on down, brother. That's gonna do it for our show today, y'all. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for sitting with us as we discuss these conference finals. We got one more game tonight. I'm gonna be watching. I love this Pacers team. I'm excited. Hopefully we get at least a good game. I just want it to keep going a little bit.
Give me more.
Give me more basketball, please. We will be back tomorrow. Yeah, it's Thursday. We'll be back tomorrow to talk this game. God, my days are all confused. We will be back tomorrow. No question mark at the end of that. So yeah, come and join us tomorrow. $2 Sports Show today, right?
Yeah, it's going to be good. Listen, come hang out. Come talk to us. We're going to be talking about how the Grizzlies can follow in the Indiana Pacers' footsteps, follow in Oklahoma City's footsteps, what we need to do to get there. It's not that much further away than you think.
Man, God, I love you guys because I literally was struggling. I was like, man, this needs to be discussed, but I don't have time on my show. I want to have a blueprint talk about how we can follow it. And you know what? You guys got it.
This is why we compliment each other well. You come for the daily grind, the tomfoolery, the puns, it's a trap, all the things. And then you stay for the $2 Sports Show where we compliment the daily grind.
It's great. So tune in, y'all. We will be back tomorrow. Remember these 2 things as you go about your day, like we always tell you. Remember to be a little weird, just a little bit, and remember to smile. Bye, guys. See you tomorrow. Have a great day.